And I'm also going to stream it on Facebook for those who don't have Zoom. Give me just 1 second to get that up and running. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. Let me try this one more time. No, it hasn't. I'm so excited to see everybody here. This is a nice turnout. This is great. Very happy. Share in a group. Let's go. Next. Preparing the live stream. Just about there. This would have been a good time to talk about the bird, probably, right? Sorry. Here we go. All right, we are up and running. All right, so thank you guys for popping in to talk about DotLoop a little bit. If you're in the Exton office, congratulations, you just got DotLoop back. If you are in Westchester and Devon, you've had access to it, which is great, Valerie. But you've had access to it, but we wanted to give everybody just kind of like a really basic tutorial in the event that you haven't used it yet, and to give you just a few reminders about DotLoop and things like that. So the first thing as a reminder, you absolutely, oh, I didn't go live yet. Go live anyway. Now we're live. So the first thing to remember is that you still need to use command to start a new loop. It's super important that we do that. If you go directly to DotLoop and start a loop there, it won't sync back and forth with command. So you just start the opportunity in command, just like we were with DocuSign, and then you'll start the transaction there. And it'll automatically create a new loop for you in DotLoop. Outside of that, you can go directly to DotLoop any other time you want, but you must start your loop.
Are you lagging? Is everyone else getting that?
Sorry, what was that, Val?
You lagging? I didn't even hear you talking there.
Oh, can everybody hear me? Thumbs up, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Val, you're broken.
I don't know. Okay.
You're cutting out a little bit too. I don't know if you want to try and restart it. So let's keep pushing forward.
A question for you, Jeff. Okay, so question for you. So I'm in command now. I've already created a listing in there. So when I get a listing, or not a listing, a contract in on it, an agreement, do I hit sync transaction or go to transaction?
Now the sync transaction it's supposed to pull over data from DotLoop, and it will. It pulls over a little bit of data, but it won't completely sync it. So so it will relate them, but it'll pull over information like the buyer's name and the address and things like that. But it's not going to be a complete back and forth. So have you started an opportunity or a loop yet for that transaction?
Yeah, actually I started it first in DotLoop, and then I just went in command and
okay.
put in all the forms.
So you can absolutely go ahead and just sync it. I don't expect you to start a whole new opportunity. You will have to create an opportunity at some point so you can submit the documents for compliance. But you don't have to start the loop from scratch if you don't want to on this round.
Okay. Okay, so then I can just go to transaction and it'll take me into DotLoop?
It will. Yep, you should have the option there.
Oh, no, it takes me to DocuSign. Huh.
Okay, all right, so then here's another question. I'm actually going to share my screen with you real quick. I'm going to share my command. All right, can everybody see my command?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
You got it?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Susan broke it now. All right, so what we'll have to do is go into settings and make sure that your .loop is connected.
Okay, so I did that when you sent that out, whenever
Okay, good.
Kathleen sent it out last week. But do I have to disconnect DocuSign?
Nope, you shouldn't have to.
Huh. Okay.
So these would be the steps you would go through to connect your .loop.
It's that so on this study, I don't see .loop as an option.
Now it's real hard to understand you. No?
Yeah, you know what? Now I can't. Okay.
I might have to connect with you after this, Val. Sorry.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna listen because you keep cutting out.
Okay. So anyway, so you would go through here to connect it, activate, and then you would just pretty much sign into your account to connect your .loop. If for any reason you are struggling to do this or didn't follow along, just say, I'm happy to connect with you outside of this and show you how to do it. Totally cool. So I'm just going to stop this right now.
Wait, could you do that one more time? Sorry, I was
Oh,
behind.
I'm going to go back. This is blocking. So once you're in, you go here to settings in command. We'll do connect more apps, and it will open up the marketplace. And then you'll just search for .loop and activate it there. Did that help? Yeah? Okay, take that as a yes.
Sorry, I forget I keep muting myself. Yeah, that works. I forgot. I missed the part of connecting to connect more apps. So
Got it. Okay. Yep.
Thank
That's
you.
it. Of course. Okay. So once we're at that stage, you can create your opportunity in command. You would start your transaction, and it'll open up a brand new loop for you. And that's where I kind of want to throw it over to Lewis a little bit. Lou, I don't know. You can hear me, right?
I can.
Awesome. So I'm going to let Lewis do this. The reason I want to do that, Lewis works in .loop on a daily basis. He also trains agents on .loop. So he's going to be able to provide some real firsthand experience with .loop where I don't use it as much. So Lewis, feel free to share your screen or start however you like.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. First of all, I use Jeff made me sound a little bit more special when it comes to .loop than what I really am and my knowledge, the level of my knowledge. It's very basic. So looking at the roster here, most of you guys probably know exactly what I do as far as .loop is concerned. But yeah, we'll have a refresher either way. So one thing I will say though, when you guys create an opportunity, so if you've already created an opportunity when you were using DocuSign, you can't switch back. You have to create a whole new opportunity to connect to .loop. So like, I was working with a couple of buyers, and I'm like, I was so sick of DocuSign that I was like, you know what? I'm going to start using .loop from here out. Well, I can use .loop, but anytime you go back to that opportunity you already created and you already connected with DocuSign, and you go to that, go to transaction button, it'll always keep going to DocuSign. You can't switch it to .loop, if that makes any sense. So you just have to you can archive that opportunity, create a new opportunity, and then when you're asked to connect to DocuSign or .loop, then that time you'll click .loop if that's what you want to use. Does that make sense, Jeff, is what I'm saying, or no? Okay, perfect. All right, so let me share my screen. Oh, it says I'm not able to because you got to give me the ability. All right, perfect. Thank you, Jeff.
Welcome.
All right, so I created so at this point, like Jeff said, you created an opportunity, you hit that go to transaction button, and you hit .loop, and now you have a loop created. And so we're gonna pretend like this 123 Main Street loop was created from your opportunity. So I'm gonna jump into it. Yeah.
All right, I logged off and logged on, so I can hear better, but I missed a lot. I have a quick question. The sequence of things is you create your opportunity and then hook up with .loop, right?
Right, yeah, it's the same
Correct.
sequence that you were doing with DocuSign.
You know what? It just, yeah, okay. I could never get, we always started in DocuSign or .loop and then created the opportunity. I guess the whole consumer notice thing and all that stuff, getting that going, so it just doesn't, okay.
Yeah, it's hard to get used to, Val. I tell you, I had the same troubles, but now I'm trying to tell myself, like, as soon as I communicate with a new client, like whether they hired me or not yet, like as soon as I get their phone number, email, I just plug them in as a contact. So that way, again, I can remember to create the opportunity first before I do the consumer notice and stuff like that. But it is hard to remember to do that before the other.
If they do the loop first or a DocuSign first, what is the adverse impact for that? It doesn't link, they don't link, so I can't easily download, I can't connect them to download documents. Because right now, I just I download each document manually. And you're saying if it's done properly, then I don't have to do each document manually?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Or am I jumping way ahead?
You're talking about the compliance section, right?
I'm talking about the required documents that are needed in command for the transaction. Yes.
Yes. Yep. So if you start in opportunities, create a transaction, and it takes you to .loop, if you follow that sequence, uploading documents for your compliance section will be so easy for you. You won't have to download or upload a single thing.
Okay.
I'm actually doing a compliance class next Thursday, next Thursday, where I'll show you all the, like, exactly how that works, but I can find you info for that prior to that too, if you need it.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Great question, Valerie. All right. So what I would do first, and this may be an unnecessary step when you're doing it the right way through command and create an opportunity first. I'm not sure if it brings over the roles of the buyer and things like that. But either way, if you want to double check, just go to view details first and see the people involved in the transaction and make sure that the roles are correct before you start bringing in documents and everything. So you just want to make sure, like, okay, you're labeled as the buying agent, they're the buyer or the seller, vice versa, whatever the roles are involved for that transaction. So once that's correct, the roles are correct in here. If you need to add someone, like they're not in here, just click on this add person button, and then a screen will come up where you need to add at least their full name, email address, and the role if you needed to add anyone that they're not in there for some reason. After that's all correct, you can fill in some of this information here if you want, as far as like the property address, if you know like what you're going to be offering and things like that. Some of this will populate in some of your documents, like through autofill. Me personally, I'm just giving you how I personally do it. I usually don't get too detailed on this stuff here. I just fill it in myself once I get to that part, but you can do that if you want. And then I just save it and then go back to my loop here, back to the loop. All right. What I would do is, and this is something like after 8 years that I'm finally doing, I'm a little slow to be efficient, is go into up here in the corner, there's a templates icon. All right, so that should bring you to like all your different templates and your PAR documents, the Delaware forms, the KW office forms, everything should be over here on the left-hand side. I started to make folders. So these are called like folders over here for every situation that I'll have with a client. So like if I'm doing a buyer consultation or a listing appointment, then I created a folder like PA buyer consultation, and then started dropping the documents that I would typically use for a buyer consultation. So for instance, you know, we want to get the consumer notice and the buyer agency contract signed, you know, once at the end or post your consultation. So these documents, you can make them into templates. So I'll open up this one here. So you can fill in some of the stuff that's repetitive, you know, so your information, the office's information, you know, the buyer section, you're going to leave blank because you don't know who the buyer is yet. You know, you can even check no here that they don't have another buyer agency contract, since that's going to be the case probably majority of the time. Time frame, you don't really know yet until, you know, you get the date of when you're meeting with them. But then some of your fees, if you have kind of like standard fees that you guys charge for your buyer representation, then just plug them in here. If that's what you do majority of the time. Like, yes, you got to remember if there's a certain case where you are charging something different or less, that you got to change it. But this is just to save you time 9 times out of 10 if you're using the same stuff. So once you fill those items in that is repetitive, you can just click the save button. All right, so now if I come out of here, and you can do this for multiple situations. Listing appointment, what listing documents do you need? If you're making an offer for your buyer, what documents do you usually need to make an offer? The agreement of sale, the deposit money notice. So anything you would typically need, you can just go ahead and throw them in these folders. So that way you don't always have to keep going down to your PAR, you know, forms and search through, oh, let me look through 30 some documents to find what I need. They're already be in these folders for you and partially completed. All right. So once you have taken time to do that, now you can go back to your loop section here. Any questions before I keep going to the loop thing on like that templates part? To me, I mean, again, I'm not here to start a war between DotLoop and DocuSign, but to me, for me personally, creating those templates was a lot easier in there. There wasn't all that, oh, I got to copy them from here and send them there, and will the whole office see this or not see it? So it's very simple in DotLoop. All right, perfect. So now if you jump into your loop here that you have created already, now let me move my face out the way. Okay, the first thing you want to do is add a folder. All right, there may be a folder already created when you're first in there. I deleted mine when I started this one, but if you want to, if there isn't one, just click on add folder here. And if there is already one, it'll just be called new folder. And so you can change the name of the folder. So the way you change the name, these 3 little dots over here on the right, if you click on those, you click rename, and that'll give you the ability to change the name of your folder. So if you're, you know, writing an offer for the buyer right now, you could just title this offer. When you get to the point where it's under contract, you can create another folder that's under contract files, title files, whatever your systems are, you know, you can just group them. I would suggest just developing some type of way to categorize everything other than just having, you know, 30 or 40 documents all under one folder. It's just a little bit more organized. All right. So if you're just doing offer, now if you go to templates, well, actually, well, let me do, I take that back. I'm not going to do offer, guys. I'm going to do the buyer consultation because we just went to that folder. All right. So buyer consultation. So now I would go into templates here because that's the section we just got them messing with. The buyer consultation folder here that we were just in when we were completing those templates, I can click on that. And now I could bring over the buyer agency contract and any other documents I want to as well. So you can bring over more than one at once. So if I want both the buyer agency contract and the consumer notice to come over, I just check both of these and then I would hit copy. And then it says 2 of 2 is imported. I hit OK, and then they'll be sitting underneath that folder. Okay, now we want to make sure that the template part worked as far as filling in what we wanted. So we can click to open the buyer agency contract. Now on DotLoop, when you open a document that you just added for the first time, it's going to have this option to autofill. So the purpose of this is to help you, to save you some time. And so you want to check the roles, and because in that view details section that I told you guys to go into first, because we assigned the roles in the beginning, it should have the roles correct already at this point. All right, so you can see buyer 1 is Lewis Nixon Jr. The buyer agent is Lewis Nixon, because that was the roles I had in that detail section of my loop. All right. If you want to select someone else, if they're not correct, or you want to add someone, you can select the other people that were in that detail section, or you can even add a person at this stage. If let's just say you totally forgot to do that part, and you're like, oh, I forgot to add Jim Smith. He's one of the buyers. Then you can click add person, and then it'll allow you to fill in their name and email address. All right. So now, it'll also give you the ability to fill in some of your information as the buyer's agent if you would like your office address and things like that, because it'll populate that for you if you fill it in here, because this is the autofill screen. Same thing for the buyer. All right. So my stuff is already in here, so I just click on autofill. And then I'm going to continue here. That's fine. All right. So whenever it autofills, it turns the field yellow. So it lets you know these are the fields that we helped you out with. All right. So you guys can make sure that autofill worked correctly. Okay. The stuff that's not in yellow, that's the stuff I already pre-filled in the templates section when we were filling in our templates. So as you can see, like when you add a buyer agency contract, when you already filled a lot in through the template section, it'll save you a lot of time, because look, all my fees are pre-filled in. All I really have to do is just scroll down, put a date in, and just go ahead and sign and send it off. So it saves a lot of time, unless you have to change anything in here if it's a unique scenario. Any questions on that? Am I forgetting anything here, Jeff? Okay, perfect. So once it's ready to go, you can either click save, and then this will turn into just a share button, or you can just simply click save and share. So I would click save and share. And now it's saying, okay, how do you want to share this document? So it knows that I want to send this to Lewis Nixon Jr. because that's the buyer. And it says that there's 4 fields assigned, because that's how many times they have to sign. And it says that buyer only has the ability to sign. So they can't do anything else but to sign the document. If you're sending a document where they need to fill in something, you want to change what their ability is. So you want to click on this can sign, and you can put can fill and sign. So that is your BFI. That is your social security authorization document if you want them to fill in their social security number and their birth date. So you got to make sure you change this to can fill and sign, and then hit share. All right. But for this part, I don't need them to fill in anything. If you wanted to send this to someone else as well, and they're not entered into this loop at all, you can even just add a name. So, if I just wanted someone else to have their eyes on this, or receive this document, I can just add in that person's name, email address, what role they are, and maybe I just want them just to see it, and you can share it, and they'll get it as well. Here is a custom message. So, it's kind of like when you're using DocuSign at the bottom of your envelope, there's a section where you can kind of write in like a subject and a message. This is kind of where you would put your message for DotLoop. So, hi, sending over the buyer agency contract that we spoke about, please sign ASAP, and then click share, and they'll get that. There is a little check mark down here that you can attach a PDF to the email as well. So that's it. So, and then there's one option here I'll mention too. You can reshare too, which it just gives you the ability, sometimes I have clients where I'll send them I don't know, 4 or 5 documents at once, and they'll message me back and they're like, hey, I think I'm done. And I'll realize that they only signed maybe 3 out of 4. And they're like, I can't find the 4th one. So I'll go into that fourth one that I see that they didn't sign, and I'll click on this reshare, and then I'll send it to them again and click reshare right here, and then it sends it to them again, and it kind of pops up now in front of their face a second time. All right. Perfect. So then when you click share here, it's off and sent. This document has been shared, and just click done, and you're completed. So now you can get out of this document and be done. All right. And well, let me show you what it looks like once you shared it. So it'll have this little in yellow font waiting on others. And if you hover over this, it'll even let you know the current status. So it says still waiting on Lewis to sign. If I go in, which I might be able to do, let me see. It's sent to me, like, and this is what it looks like when it comes to you in the email form. It says Lewis has shared a document with you. If I hit view document, all right, and then let's say, I've never done this before, so hopefully this works the way I want it to work. Hold on, let me go back to my DotLoop and refresh this screen. Oh, it's gonna kick me out, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. This is what happens when you try to get fancy. All right. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys, since I looked at that document as a consumer, but I didn't sign it, now when I hover over that, it says Lewis viewed. You see how that changed? So now you can tell, like, oh, they definitely looked at that document. They just didn't sign it yet. So when you're anxiously waiting, like, oh, are these people going to hire me or not? Like, you can at least see, like, oh, well, they at least looked at the contract. So if they're taking too long, you might want to give them a call, like, hey, so how's things going? So you can see, if they made any progress. And so once I sign the document, then this would change to Lewis is signed, and this yellow font will leave, and it'll change to signed. Which I might just go ahead and just do real quick so I can just show you what it looks like. Start signing. This is why it's good to kind of see what your consumers see, because that way you can troubleshoot. Like if they're like, oh, I can't figure this out. So they just click start signing up here. And all they have to do is just click, it says click here, adopt this signature that's already there, or they can draw their own signature. It's up to them. Adopt and sign, click here. And it moves automatically to every spot that they need to sign. All right, and then now there's no more, it says you're almost done. Click finish to complete. Finish signing. And then it just asks them for a rating, okay? That says you're all done. All right, so let me get out of that. It might make me sign back in. Here, let's see if that happens when I refresh. Yeah, but that's okay. We can, okay, so how you can see now it says signed. So that's pretty much what it looks like. All right, if at that point, if you want to download that as a PDF to save it to your computer, to email it via like, your Gmail or whatever you use, you can just click on the document and it gives you options. You can archive it, you can make a copy, you can open it, of course, print the document, downloads. If you click on download, it'll download to my computer as a PDF. All right. Making a copy. So when you make a copy, it gives you the ability to, you can send this to other loops, so if you have like, 2 loops where I have, like I'm doing a deal right now where the listing agent also uses DotLoop. And so when I got something signed, I would, instead of going, downloading it and putting it in my email and then sending it that way, I can just make a copy and then send it to his loop, because he already gave me he added me to his loop. So we had 2 loops with the same address or whatever. So you could add, things to different loops as a PDF or as a .loop document if you want. All right, perfect. What else can I tell you guys? Oh, so let's go into, let me show you how to kind of like mess with the document a little bit. Well, you know what, let me add this, let me download this as a PDF and So I want to download this as a PDF so I can show you. All right, save. Let me see. Loop test. All right, so I saved it. Okay, so now let's say you have a document that you want to add from your computer that you saved. You go to add document. Instead of going to templates to get your templates that you have, or to get the PAR forms, to access the PAR forms, you would go to browse, because you want to browse your own computer. And so I go to my downloads where I saved it. I saved it as .loop test. Click open. And now what I saved is right here, and I can open that up, and you see it's the buyer agency contract. Okay, so now let me show you, okay, let's say you want to do some edits to this. So there's a couple of different things you could do. It's very similar to DocuSign. So one thing, you could add check boxes, number one, strike throughs. So this might come handy, like if you need to say all right, I'm not charging $3.95 anymore. So you can add that strike through. You can make it bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do, move it around into there. All right. The way you also delete fields is, out the way, is when you click on that strike through, there's a X up here. It says remove field. So say, oh, I don't want that strike through anymore. Click that X and then that goes away. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Another thing you might use is text boxes. So you can sit here and put add text. It's the same way. Let's say, oh, it went away. Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on. There we go. So I can add a text box, and let's say I just want to fill in a date here, 01/20/20 or whatever. You can fill that in. Now your text box is there. You can make these, you can resize these and things like that, just like bigger, small, just like DocuSign. So if you want to remove that text box, or you want to change the font, change the color, it gives you all these abilities up here when you have the text box clicked on. So I just want to, I'll remove it.
Louis,
Yes.
before you go forward, can you just show them how you can assign those boxes to specific people?
Oh, great. Good one. This is what I need you for, Jeff. I forget things. All right. So let's say I'm adding a field, and I want, someone specific to fill in that field. All right. So let me move this out the way. Right now, if you go to the left here, up here in the upper left-hand corner, this will always show you when you have whatever field you're clicked on, it'll always show you who that field is assigned to. So right now, this text box is assigned to nobody. But if I want it to be assigned to my buyer, Lewis Nixon Jr., I can click on their name, and now it turned gray. And now you can see that box says assigned to Lewis Nixon Jr. So that helps, again, for things that you're sending over to them that you need them to fill in something. All right. So thanks for bringing that up. That's a great point, Jeff. So I'll delete
Louis,
that.
can I
Yes.
ask a quick question, Ashanta?
Please.
So the document, you already signed it, and now you're making changes, so it didn't clear your signature?
Not in this case, because this is a PDF form. So if I didn't download this contract and upload it as a PDF, if I went into, and I'll show you real quick. Save changes, no. Share document, no. So I'll go back to the document. This is a great question that we were working on. So this buyer agency. Okay, so now you see how this is signed. It's signed by the buyer.
Yes.
So if I went in and I said, you know what, let me change this real quick. Or, I could let me change this percentage. As soon as I make one edit, it says, are you sure you want to edit the form? And if you're like, oh, I don't, because it says that making changes to this form will clear all signatures. So if that's a mistake and you don't want to clear the signatures, hit do not make changes. But if you do want to clear the signatures, say yes, I am sure, and now it will erase the signature. So now that signature is not there anymore. So this is called, in .loop, they call it a .loop document versus just a PDF document. All right.
Okay.
So if you change, you're changing the percentage there. So just changing that percentage will delete all initials and signatures. It just won't delete them from that page.
Correct. All of them on the entire document will be deleted just by changing anything on this document after it's signed.
Now, and this is actually a question I wanted to talk to you about, because we sent a seller's disclosure to a seller. She completed it, signed it. It came back, it was all signed. And then the next day, I looked at it and it said that it's partially signed. And she had gone in and changed a few things on certain pages, but it didn't delete all of her initials throughout the whole doc, only on the pages that she changed. Which I thought, oh, they must have updated .loop, because normally it would just take away everything, all initials and signatures, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little odd. It's like in the example I just did here, when I just changed that percentage, if we scroll down every page, the initials are gone. So I don't know why that happened that way.
I'll have to do a test run on the disclosure with myself to see what happens. Okay.
Yep, great point that you brought up there. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that with the disclosure. So let me see here. Let me get out. Would you like to save changes? Yes. Share, no. Okay, so I'm go. Know we're going a little bit on time here, so I'll speed up here for you guys. I know you guys might have other things to do, but so anything else as far as like the editing the form? So if you need to add initials, and again, I know that we're using the buyer agency contract, and a lot of things that we're going over don't need to be done on a buyer agency contract, but we can all pretend. So if we need to add initials, add initial. So you click on that, you scroll down, and you would just throw it in or over top where the box you need it. And then at that point, you can either click assign field here, or you can go back to the left-hand corner that I told you guys about at that point and select who should be having that field. So I assigned it to my buyer, and now you see that the initials appeared in there. So that's how you add fields. Now you can also copy and paste fields in this as well, just like you can DocuSign. So if I add another one, add another field, and this one I'll add to Louis Nixon regular. Oh, it's not going to because it's me personally. But yeah, so what you can do is you would just there's two different ways you can do it. And let me move this out the way. So when I click on this field over here on the right, it gives you the commands to be able to copy, delete, select multiple fields. So it's telling me to select multiple fields, I can hit shift and click. So I'll just hit shift and click. Or I did realize that you can also drag like over top and go like this, and whatever fields, it'll select both. All right, so then if you click, like if you follow over here to copy, mine is Command Shift C. And then once I do that, now you see the paste field has come up, the commands for the paste has come up now. So now if I want to paste, I was like, oh, I want to put this down here, Command Shift V. Now both of those initials, like they should, one thing I like about it, I don't think on DocuSign, it didn't give you a hover field. Like you would just like put your like little cursor and you click paste and it will just come up where it wanted to kind of. With this, I like the fact that like it shows you exactly where the placement's going to be. I know it seems small, but little things make me happy. So you click
Something
there and
actually, Lewis, when you highlight multiple fields, you can assign all of those fields to the same person.
correct.
So many things is that. So
Yep.
if you had a bunch of text fields in a certain spot and you want them all to be buyer one,
Yep.
you just highlight them all and then just choose, your buyer at the top left or whatever.
Absolutely. Yep. That's exactly right. Yep. So this is what I would hope that you guys all do for especially the, that seller's disclosure that we just talked about. You have 11 pages and you have to put all those signatures on there. Just use the copy paste function and just drop them in there because it'll save you a lot of time. All right. You can do the date as well. That's self-explanatory. So anyway, so once you get done that, just make sure you always, click save. If you're not sharing it yet, just at least save it and get out of it. And that's it. What am I missing, Jeff? Anything?
No, I mean, that was the basic overview that
Yes.
I wanted to do today. And then what we can do, obviously, if anybody has any more advanced questions or want to see this again or need any walkthroughs, feel free to reach out to me or your tech ambassador or whoever you know of that's good with tech or DotLoop. Feel free to reach out. We're happy to help. And then next week, like I said, at this time sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. This time next week, I'm going to be doing a class just like this on compliance. So I'll be able to show you exactly how to transfer the documents from DotLoop or DocuSign into Command with a click of a button without having to download.
Awesome.
So either way, from Command to DotLoop or DotLoop to Command.
Are you talking about moving the documents?
Yeah.
So obviously you would get everything signed here. Sorry, my hand's right in the camera. You would get everything signed here in DotLoop or DocuSign. And then once you're back in your opportunity, ready to submit for compliance, it'll automatically sync to your loop or your folder or your room rather. And it'll search out those documents that you have signed already. So it's automated. You don't have to download it from DotLoop and then re-upload it into Command.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. But we just have to make sure your DotLoop is connected first. Otherwise that won't work. So.
Okay. So what you just did, copying the initials from one page to another and down the line. So over to the right, that'll show up the commands that I do on the page.
Yes, that is correct. So I'll show you again. Yes. Yes, so the commands will show up over to the right. So if you see when I'm not clicked on a field, the only commands that show up here is just how to save a document. So it kind of, so Susan, it kind of guesses like, all right, this is probably all you're going to need at this place is to save a document. But once you click on a field, it says, oh, you might need to know how to copy a field, delete a field, select multiple fields. So then the commands will show up on the right-hand side.
Okay, all right, good.
Great, yeah, great question, Susan. Any other questions, before we wrap up?
Very much. Sorry, go ahead, Susan. Do you have another question?
Susan.
I don't know if this is possible, but in DocuSign, and I mentioned this to Jeff, how you can assign, seller 1 will sign first, and then seller 2 will, sign second. And then I can put in a number 3 where, let's say, an agent gets a copy of everything that was signed. Can you do anything like that in DotLoop?
Yeah, so I unless someone else that's more skilled with it on this call knows another way, I don't know of a way that you could assign the order. It'll go to both clients or whoever you're sharing it with at the same time.
Okay.
And then, so Susan,
Unless you send it only to one person and get those documents back and then send it to the next person.
Correct. Yes. If you don't want to send it to both at the same time, you can just hold one of them back, send it to just the one, and then once they're done, then you can send it to the other person. That's correct. Yep.
The DocuSign is really handy with the COVID HSA forms because, once our client signs, it'll just go directly back. I have it set where it'll go directly back to the agent. They'll get their copy back. And now it's like, now I gotta remember, and it's more work, but oh well. It was handy for that, DocuSign was, the COVID form.
There might be some workarounds for this, Susan. Let me think about this and let me run through this in my head. It might be some filtering that you could do in your email for this too. Let me run this around in my head. Let me think of a solution for you.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
Cool. But otherwise, yeah, Louis, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know this was, you're super busy and you got a lot to
No
do.
problem.
This was really helpful. And again, to anybody who has more questions, feel free just to reach out to any of us and we're happy to help you out. If you don't know who to reach out to your MCA and they'll definitely connect you to the right person.
Okay, thanks,
All
guys.
right. Thank you guys.
All right,
Have a
see
great
ya.
day. Stay healthy.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.